Okay, I'd like to call a meeting to order. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable's Old Kings Highway Historic District Act under Section 9 of Chapter 470, Acts of 1973 as amended, you are hereby notified that a hearing will be held tonight on the applications listed on the agenda for Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. We'd like to remind applicants and audience members that we are an elected volunteer committee following the guidelines of the Town of Barnstable's Old Kings Highway Historic District Act. Any applicant or interested party who has agreed by a decision of this committee has the right to appeal a decision to the Old Kings Highway Regional Historic District Commission. We ask that during the evening proceedings, cell phones be turned off and conversations other than those before the committee take place outside this remote meeting. When an application is called, we ask the applicant and all interested parties and abutters to identify themselves. Lastly, as a best practice for meetings held remotely, where we may not be able to visually identify who is speaking, we ask all committee members and participants to identify themselves before making any motion or comment. Online audience members wishing to participate during the public comment section of the hearing can use the raise hand button to notify the chair. Dial-in audience members wishing to participate during the public comment section of the hearing should press *9 on their phone to notify the chair. All participants will be muted. You must be recognized by the chair to participate. First order of business for the evening is roll call vote. Beth McCarthy.
Here.
George Jessup. He's absent. Leslie Wallace.
Here.
Ryan Caholen.
Here.
And Wendy Shuck.
Here.
And Paul Richard here. And seeing we're down one committee member, Wendy, I appoint you as a voting member for the evening.
Okay.
Okay, first application for the evening is Stanley Elias, 42 Packet Landing Way, West Barnstable, map 179, parcel 004, built 1962. Replace one patio door and replace one front entry door. We have the owner or representative here.
Representative from Renewal by Anderson, Southern New England, Lenny Fonts.
Good evening. You want to give us a description of the project?
Yeah, we sent the packet. Everything's completed. The patio door is going to be a likeness for likeness. White on the outside, white on the inside, not on the front of the home. I would say barely visible from the road. It's off to the left side of the house, looking at the house from the road. There you have it, right there. It's going to be white on the interior, white on the exterior, white trim as you see in that photo there. We're putting in an Anderson 200 series PermaShield. Same operation as well. And there's the next photo, the front entry door. As you can see, there's a white surround around that door. We're going to be replicating that as well. The new front door, there is going to be a deviation here. If you look at page 24 of the 23 of the packet, we're going with a clear round top series door rather than the double light on the current door. It's going to actually open a little bit more natural light to the front of the home. Aesthetically, it'll look a lot more appealing to the front of the home as well, and that's the only deviation. The surround is going to remain the same, other than it being in AZAC and not wood.
Okay, then why don't we go to committee discussion, Beth?
It's a fairly remote street, and I do not have any issues. I feel that the replacements are appropriate.
Okay, Leslie.
Yeah, it is remote. And I mean, the slider, patio door. And I think the front door is going to look very nice. So fine with me.
Okay, Ryan.
I think it's appropriate. No exceptions.
Okay, Wendy.
Yep, no exceptions here. I think it's appropriate.
Okay, it's a good thing George isn't here because he'd probably attack that front door. I don't think that front door is all that appropriate for that style of house, but given the location, I'm fine with it. Sometimes homeowners want what they want, and if it's highly visible and on 6A and it's going to be a real issue, I would say it's a problem. But in this case, I would say it's appropriate. Is there any public comment?
Chair, this is Kate Maldonado. At this time, I do not see any of the members of the public raising their hand.
Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion?
Yes, this is Beth McCarthy, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness for Stanley Elias, 42 Packet Landing Way, West Barnstable, map 179, parcel 004, built 1962 to replace one patio door and to replace the front entry door as submitted in the plans.
Can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Bet McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Brian Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Paul Richard, I. Well, thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you all.
Okay,
Have a wonderful holiday.
You as well.
okay. Next application is Scion Builders LLC, 50 Wayside Lane, West Barnstable, map 110, parcel 007. New build, single-family home consisting of 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and attached 2-car garage, living space 2,800 square feet. Do we have the owner or representative here?
Yes, I'm here. My name's Corin Mohammed on behalf of Scion Builders.
Okay, you want to run us through the project?
So essentially, it's an extension of a road of Wayside Lane of approximately by 50 feet. That's the extension right there. And then the house is in the back. I attached the house plans as well, so you guys can visualize what it looks like. Now the siding, we might change the color of the siding, but that's what it is gonna look like in the end. People had some concerns about the landscaping, what we're doing. I had a landscape plan also attached. We usually just put about 8 shrubs in the front of the house. We mulch the bed and then we hydro seed everything or seed it. That's pretty much it.
Okay, why don't we go to committee discussion? Pat?
Yes, this is a very remote area, barely visible from the cul-de-sac at the end of the road. I consider the plans appropriate and fitting for the Old Kings Highway Historic District.
Okay, Leslie?
Yeah, it's remote. Probably can't see much of it from the road. Yeah, I think it's appropriate. I have no problem with it.
Okay, thank you. Ryan?
I think given the location and the design, I think it's appropriate.
Okay, Wendy?
Yeah. So what will the color be? Do you know?
It's either gonna be like a sandstone, a tannish color for the siding or a light gray.
Okay.
There's 2 houses going in that extension, either or. The one on top is gonna be gray or the one on top is gonna be tan, or the opposite on the first one.
Okay. And then another question on slide 8, the front of the house, it looked like it had a little bit different treatment, like around the door and that window up top.
Door and the window. Yeah, so no, that's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the batten board siding.
Okay.
Second gable.
Yeah.
We might put some stone there, depending, but as of right now, we're gonna keep it as a batten board siding. But
Okay.
it depends. We might put some natural stone on there to match the siding. Everything will be color sequenced and color coded together.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I think it's fitting for the area and kind of in line with what's there already. So I'm okay with it. Yep, I think looks good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Yeah, and I agree with the rest of the committee. It's kind of remote. There's not a whole lot of traffic, only with the neighbors. And it's kind of an eclectic neighborhood with very similar houses in there. Very similar materials. I think it's appropriate. Is there any public comment?
Chair, this is Kate Maltonato. At this time, I do not see any members of the public raising their hand.
Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion?
Yes, this is Beth McCarthy, and I make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for Scion Builders LLC, 50 Wayside Lane, West Barnstable, map 110, parcel 007, a new build, a single-family home consisting of 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, attached 2-car garage, a living space 2,800.
Do we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Bet McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Paul Richard, aye. Well, thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you guys so much. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Hillary Stone, 94 Indian Trail, Barnstable, map 336, parcel 015, new build boat barn / garage / greenhouse. Do we have the owner or representative here?
I'm the husband of the owner, Rob Anderson. I see Jamie McGrath of Pine Harbor is also in the participant listing here.
Yep.
And I'm hoping he can step up and be the professional in the presentation here.
Okay,
I'm-
we'll get Jamie to give the little presentation then, or you don't have to give a whole lot. I mean, we can look at the drawings.
Yep. Do you guys hear me here?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can. Go ahead.
Okay, Jamie McGrath from Pine Harbor Wood Products. I'm here on behalf of the Stones and the Andersons, apparently. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. John DeRocher, who works, my project manager, was not available tonight, so I'm kind of stepping in, but we obviously have a nice plan here for a barn on Indian Field Road, Indian Trail Road, right? And I'm happy to answer any questions. We have, well, I can walk you through the specifications. It's a 24 by 34 barn with a 8 by 24 attached kind of greenhouse, little shed roof off the side. We're going to have black sash windows, cupola specifications, white cedar shingles on 4 walls. Sliding doors that you see on the plan there, very similar to that. They'd be beadboard. It's AZEK trim painted white and a couple of dormers, one on each side. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, then why don't we go to committee discussion? Bet?
Yes, I consider again, it's a remote road. I consider the plans very fitting with the neighborhood as well as fitting the historic look. I think it will help tremendously to keep all those cars and boats and off the property, and I think it will add very nicely to the community.
Okay, Leslie.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It'll get rid of everything and it looks good.
Okay, Ryan.
We just put the plot plan back up for a second. How far back from the edge of road we were?
I think it's 31 feet there.
Just about minimum.
Okay.
Yeah, 30-foot setback.
And this is Rob Anderson speaking. I'm just noticing that this plan's dated February 10th. There's an updated plan dated May that shows that the driveway will come directly straight in from Indian Trail. There won't be a driveway on the north side of the barn. That's one of the things we're trying to accommodate everyone. The reason we're building this, one of the reasons, but a primary reason is just as you, what the commissioner suggested, is to not have boats and cars seen from the roadway there. They're going to be stored in the barn. And we're going to give up that driveway that's on the north side and just come straight in from the barn.
I think it's great to store the stuff inside. Just my opinion, double the size. I built a barn in similar dimensions 5 years ago. I wish I had 3 of them. But,
Well, to clarify that on the dimensions, it's actually 32 by 34, not 24 by 34. So it's a good size structure, 32 by 34.
The 32 does include the 8-foot like screen, greenhouse area there. So ultimately, it's the main part of the building's 24, 34, and then there's the 8-foot bump out. That plan doesn't show that it's stepped in a little bit. I think it's stepped in about 3-4 feet on either end.
or just on the north side, actually, but, and then one other clarification, I could thank you for correcting me there, Jamie. On the coloring, there's a photograph that was put up on the screen a moment ago of a window. And that's more the color of the trim that we're gonna end up with. Those are the lights, the exterior lights. There's the window.
Yep,
It's gonna be 2/2 with the black inside, and then that kind of a look on the trim.
correct. Yeah, there'll be white. It's AZAC casing on the exterior that would need to be painted. I believe the house across, the house is across the street. I think it's going to be white. Mr. Anderson might help me out with that.
Yeah,
we're not
that's
in charge of
that's our home, and it's another reason why we want to build this is because with that lot, for those of you who've gone down Indian Trail we're right on that pond. We don't have any way of having a garage or way of storing boats on that side of the street. So
Mhm.
this is our step forward for the property. We own both sides of the street.
Huh.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, you good, Ryan?
I'm
Okay, Wendy?
Yep, I was gonna ask about the trim color, so you answered that. One question, I think on that plot plan, it said something about a single rail fence that's going around are you putting that in?
Conservation Commission in their order of conditions is requiring that.
Oh,
A fence. Oh,
just a
I may
single
appeal-
rail. Yeah,
I may very well appeal that in the future, but that was in their order of conditions to put a fence along the 50-foot buffer.
right. I don't know that I've ever seen a single rail fence. I'm not sure I know what that looks like.
Neither do we. We have a two rail on the other side of the street. And there's some white fencing around our house, more picket style. So if that's an issue for you guys, we can certainly get a more definitive answer to that, but that's just what was required by conservation.
Yeah. Paul, have you ever seen a single rail fence? Do you know what that is?
Not really, no. But it's
Yeah.
in the back and it's not really that visible. It'll blend in and weather out.
Yeah, if it's weathered, yeah, I would
I mean, I'm
agree.
good with whatever the conservation tells you to do.
Yeah,
If they say put it in, if they don't say put it in, it really doesn't matter.
yeah, yeah.
The only place I've seen a single rail fence is around a cemetery.
Oh,
George is there. Hmm.
Hello.
Okay. So, yeah, all right. And I would recommend that you just submit the current plot plan so that they have that on record.
yeah.
Okay,
yes.
I have no issues with any of this.
Right.
Is there any public comment?
Chair, this is Kate Montanaro. At this time, I do not see any of the members of the
Okay,
public raising their hands.
seeing none, can we have a motion?
Yes, this is Beth McCarthy, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness for Hillary Stone, 94 Indian Trail, Barnstable, map 336, parcel 015, a new build, a boat barn, a garage and a greenhouse as submitted in the plans with a current plot plan to be submitted as well.
Can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Beth McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Paul Richard, aye. Well, thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you very
folks.
much.
And George, I appointed Wendy as a voting member for the evening, so you can participate in the discussion, but if you want to vote, you're going to have to abstain.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
I have 4 meetings overlapping this evening, so that's why I'm a little late. Thank you.
All right, next application is Philip and Deirdre
That
Detchins.
would be Dachins.
Detchins, okay. 3730 Route 6A Barnstable, map 317, parcel 027, built 1786. Remove and replace 14 existing windows and 1 door, remove existing hearth and install new floor, cover brick with sheet rock, remove and replace rear deck, which is rotting, and install Caboni thermally modified pine decking. Do we have the owner or representative here?
So I'm the representative, Steve Bobola, Sandola Customs. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm
Can you give us a
representing-
description of the project?
Yeah, so we have a few components here. One component is replacing 14 existing windows. Similarly, like for like, there'd be the Marvin white clad exterior, simulated divided light 6/6. I think that part is a fairly straightforward part of the project. Number two is changing out the front door to a Therma-Tru, basically a 6-light Craftsman style with a 2-panel below. There should be a representation of that door somewhere in the scrollings. If you don't have the door, this is the representation here of that particular front door unit.
It's a real shame.
All right, two tall panels and what, 4 light on the top, 6 light on the top?
That's correct.
Right, okay.
It's a fairly standard Craftsman style Therma-Tru door unit. There is a specifications page in the packet for that particular door.
Craftsman stuff. I fit this.
Number 3 is there's a little bit of a okay, so if you keep that screen up where you can see this existing side deck. We have a little bit of a couple of things that are overlapping here. One is we're planning on replacing the decking with a 5/4 by 6 Caillou. The best way to describe that particular material, it's from Engineered Forestry. It's a very dense product, wood product, similar to iPay. And then it weathers naturally down into a gray. That's number one. Number two, what failed to make it, it appears to me what failed to make it into the packet is on 4/17/19. This committee approved a reconstruction plan of this particular deck. And I don't know if you have that available to see. Essentially, it's a recreation of this particular deck, but the staircase, instead of coming down, as you can see it, to that part, it runs parallel with the long side of the deck and follows the slope down. So unfortunately, this plan that you're looking at right now is essentially partially incorrect, or it doesn't show that approved plan from 2019. So not 100% certain how you'd like to handle this. I was thinking that we could probably approve everything that we have in terms of the windows, the door, the decking material, and potentially have to revisit, unless you have that in the electronic file somewhere, what was approved on 4/17/19.
Yeah, I would say you can, since the deck was approved back then, you can go to that design. This is just the new materials on that deck, and that's fine. So we can approve that. And then the windows are fine. The front door is, that's all set. Anything that goes on the interior is not a concern of Old King, so you don't have to give us any description of that.
Okay.
All right. So you good to go to committee discussion?
Just so I can interject one more point. The
Go ahead.
skirting will be a white pine in terms of like the risers, the skirting around the deck. So it will be an exterior pine painted, and the railing system will remain a balustered wood system painted white. Just for clarification.
Okay. Why don't we go
I
to
believe
committee
I saw
discussion?
in the, this is Bette McCarthy, I saw in the materials submitted that the grills would be on the exterior of, is that correct?
That's correct.
Of
It's a
windows.
simulated divided light window.
Okay. Because in a house that age, it would be appropriate to have the exterior grills on it. So, all right, thank you. I have no problem with any of the replacement of the windows and or of the deck material. It looks like it would be quite satisfactory.
Okay, Leslie.
I agree. I think it's gonna look good and it's already been okayed for that deck. That was a little hard to figure out, but if it's been okayed, it's okayed.
Okay, Ryan.
I think a lot of thought went into the window type. I think that given the age of the house, it's tough to marry new materials without going fully custom and spending an awful lot of money. But I think it's gonna look really good. I'm good, no exceptions.
Okay, Wendy.
Yeah, I'm okay with the windows and the deck. I think it's appropriate. I am a little concerned about the front door though. I wish we had a picture of it because you mentioned craftsman style and this is such an old house.
So I apologize, this may be a little more difficult to see,
Yeah,
but this ties in with the S608 style, which you've probably seen 100 times, if not more. It's that tall 2-panel shaker style, craftsman style door with the 6 lights at the top. So this is falls into Therma-Tru's historic line of doors. It's a colonial. It really goes well with the age and style of the home.
It
Yes,
does have the 3/3 windows to match what the 6/6 are windows in our house. So we did put thought into that, like aesthetically, that it looks like one window pane on top of the door.
Right.
Smaller scale. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with those older colonial homes, I'm not sure that door style is in keeping with the age of the house.
great.
Yeah,
It isn't-
Wendy, why don't we let George see what he has? to-
Sure, absolutely. Love to
I
hear
think-
it.
I think you got some opinion on this. George, go ahead.
I do. Craftsman style doors were introduced on the West Coast by Green and Green. And it's 2 rows of either 3 or 4 lights over 2 simple panels. There sometimes is a shelf as part of that front facade of the door. The doors appropriate for a Greek revival are either 9 light or they are, in some instances, a style rather than the transom, which would be 4 lights. Sometimes they put a single row of 4 lights at the top of the door to simulate a transom look, which is fine if the door is 7 feet or so. The shorter the door, the more it's inappropriate. And a solid door, Greek Revival usually had side lights to go with that solid front door so that you could peek and see who was there. But for this particular installation, consider a single row of glass or lights across the top of the door to simulate a transom, and then make it a 4-panel door below those 4 lights. The 9-light door is always appropriate, but it's usually relegated to a secondary door, such as the kitchen or a garage or whatever. Rarely is that put on the front of the building. I have seen and I know you'll see in Hyannisport, some very heavy 9-light doors that are a single light surrounded by a series of very small colored glass insets for the Victorian transition. But for this particular building, either a 9-light or a single row of lights across the top is most appropriate. Craftsman style doors are a West Coast introduction to the green and green style bungalows, where the 2 rows were most appropriate and most frequently seen. Thank you.
Okay, Kate, could you pull up the front elevation and see if you can enlarge it a little bit? Yeah, I mean, the door on this one is what, 2 light on the top or 3 light on the top with a 4 panel. There's 2
Yeah.
below, 2 in the middle, and then 3 on the top. Given the age of this house and its proximity to 6A, I would say that style is the only door that's really appropriate for that. So I think, the door that was submitted with the application, in my opinion, it shouldn't be approved. And I would give the homeowners the opportunity, if they want to pick out a door that's as close to what's there as an existing door, to match that, go with that style, and we can approve that. We'll see what the homeowners have to say. Do you want to pick something that's closer to that and have us approve it, or do you want to just approve everything but the front door?
I think we should just approve everything but the front door at this point.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I don't know that, the committee will vote in the future to, to go for that Craftsman style door, so.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I recognize that. I just don't have another replacement to pick out, another to put it into place, to put in front of you at this last
Okay.
minute. So I'd rather
Yeah.
do see what the market is and see what's out there, and then make a choice, and I'll just bring that in front of you at the time.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know with the COVID thing and the supply chain thing, sometimes you're lucky to get anything, and it takes like months and months and months. It's been crazy. All right, so is there any public comment?
Chair, this is Kate Maldonado. I do not see any members raising their hand.
Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion, and we'll exclude the front door?
Could I
Exactly.
make one more comment about the glass for the front door?
Go ahead, George.
What you would most often see is what they would call a bullseye. And that was a much thicker center to the glass panel. It wasn't intended to be seen through. It was more a decorative element. So that you might luck into something like that if you go to the lumber yards, and particularly the lumber yards like Shipley and what's the one I'm thinking of down in Dennis.
You shouldn't be plugging any of them.
The point is,
Sorry.
you're most likely to find an old bullseye style glass, 4 lights across the top than anywhere else. So good luck with your hunt.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank you.
all right, can we have a motion for everything but the front door?
Correct. This is Bette McCarthy, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness for Deirdre and Philip Detchens, 3730 Route 6A, Barnstable, map 317, parcel 027, built 1786, to remove and replace 14 existing windows and 1 door. That door will not be, the door as submitted will not be approved tonight. And to replace the rear deck, which is rotting, and install the Kebony thermal modified pine decking as submitted in the plans.
Okay, can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Bette McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Paul Richard, aye. So that was approval of everything but the front door. It was a little bit confusing on that motion, but and come back later with the front door. Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Steve.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, next application is Timothy J. and Leanne Flanagan, 25 Ryder Lane, Barnstable, map 351, parcel 034, built 1932, build new mudroom over existing deck, footprint sonotube foundation, roof, siding, and trim to match existing house, replace decking as needed, remodel kitchen to include cabinets, counters, and tile. Do we have the owner or representative here?
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For the record, my name is James Bustamante. I'm with Longfellow Design Build. I'm here on behalf of our clients, Timothy and Leanne Flanagan of 25 Ryder Lane. The house was built in 1932. There were some dormers added in 2002, approved. Tonight, I'm here looking for an approval on a 5x9 mudroom over the existing deck. It's a total of 45 square feet. The Flanagans love the front facade of their house, so much so that they plan on reusing the front door, the screen door, even the decorative pergola ornamental feature, above the door. They plan on reusing that as well. Same V-groove, 7-inch V-groove siding on the front of the building and natural white cedar shingle on the side of the addition. The existing deck boards are PT, painted a nice gray color. It is chipping. The paint is chipping a lot, so we plan to, why I said replace decking as needed is while we get the sonotubes in place to handle the weight of the new addition. Some of the deck boards might have to be pulled back, stripped back. We would lay new PT deck boards down and then, paint same color to match the existing. And the reason for the addition is because we are remodeling the interior, the whole kitchen, and they would like, a place to come in off the driveway, take their shoes off before going into their beautiful new kitchen. I'm happy to take any questions or comments at this time.
Okay, why don't we go to committee discussion? Bet?
Again, this is a remote lane. There's not a lot of traffic there at the end. I consider the replacement of the decking and building the new mudroom absolutely fitting for the neighborhood and appropriate as submitted.
Okay, Leslie.
Yeah, it's isolated. I couldn't really, it's going to be in the back. The side and the back is what you'll see. Where's the guy?
I think it's,
Yeah,
But no, it's the front when you pull in the driveway.
okay, can I see a picture? Can you
The
bring
front
up that?
elevation, Kate.
Yeah, front right. It's the front right.
Okay, all right. And you said it matched. I don't see where it
You look-
matches.
I don't know. Hey, pull up like a Google Street View of the house, but it is it's the exact. It looks exactly the same, except just bumped out, 5 feet to be able to again just take off your shoes before you go in the kitchen.
Okay, all
Every-
right.
Like if they're pulling an existing forward 5 feet, so, it's gonna be the same look, just
Yes.
5 feet bump out. Okay,
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
all right. Ryan,
Nope, I think it's appropriate.
okay, Wendy,
yeah. So I'm not objecting to it, but isn't the roof line different on that bump out? Right? Isn't it different?
It's going to be it's a vaulted cathedral ceiling,
Yeah.
just a little head height. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's appropriate. One question is, so you're gonna use the existing door, is that right, on that mudroom?
That's correct.
The one that you have, okay, great,
Or-
yep,
Pushing it forward. Yep.
okay, got it. Yes, I think it's appropriate, fitting for the area, so I'm good.
okay, thank you. George,
It is a secondary entrance. Is the primary entrance going to be retained? Or are
Correct.
you shutting that off to make this the primary entrance?
Nope. That'll be maintained.
Okay,
Now, Now, this is the secondary entrance, but this is the most used.
Well, that's true. And most secondary entrances on Cape Cod are the primary entrance. The front door is very rarely used.
Very,
Matter of fact, most of them are screwed shut. But the appearance is that there is a primary door at the front and usually centered, et cetera, et cetera. But the side door is going to be a replication of that front door. Is that not correct?
I mean, there's no door change, so whatever is there is will.
You're going to repeat that same door on the side as well. Yeah, that works for me. And the fact that it's bumped out is fine. Is there a pergola, did I see?
Yeah, so then there's one yeah, it's existing. It's an ornamental feature that is just on the front, and it's there existing now, and they're just bumping it again forward 5 feet. So same thing.
I think repeating the pergola is an inappropriate detail. The front elevation, the front entrance door with the pergola is meant to stand alone as part of the design. I don't mind replicating everything else, but I think the pergola replication is a little overkill. I think you'd do well without it.
I think there's only one on there, George, and it's on the one they're bumping out.
That's my point. I thought there was one on the front door. Was there?
No.
I didn't hear the builder just say there was one?
Nope, just on this door, sir.
No, just on the side door. Okay,
Yep.
okay. A neat trick is a clear plastic panel that you can drop on that bump out, that pergola, so you can convert it to a clear plastic roof. Works very well. I had one for 10 years, so I know. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, you're good, George? All right. Yeah, given it's the location, given the existing design, I think this all matches in well, and I think it's appropriate. Is there any public comment?
Chair, this is Kate Maltonato. I do not see any members of the public raising their
Okay,
hands.
seeing none, can we have a motion?
Yes, this is Bette McCarthy, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness for Lee Ann and Timothy Flanagan, 25 Ryder Lane, Barnstable, map 351, parcel 034, built 1932, to build a new mudroom over existing deck, footprints with sono tube foundation, roof, siding, and trim to match the existing house as submitted and to replace the decking as needed, as submitted in the plans.
Okay, can we have a second?
This is Leslie Wallace. I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Bette McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Schuck,
Aye.
and Paul Richard, aye. Well, thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays to you all.
Yeah, same
Thank
to you.
you.
Okay. Next application is Marjorie Mayo Brown and Gregory Brown, 91 Angela Way, West Barnstable, map 133, parcel 068, built 1997, replace front door and side lights. Do we have the owner or representative?
Yes, hi.
Good
My
evening.
name is Greg Brown.
You want to just give us a description of what you're doing?
Sure. We're looking to replace our builder grade front door and side lights with a very similar in style, almost exactly the same style, front door and side lights, but the front door that we're proposing has it's a 6-light front door.
6 lights.
Okay.
Working to the Craftsman again.
Mhm.
Well, it's in keeping. Our house is a colonial. It's in keeping with the colonial style, but we're just looking to bring in more light in the front door.
Well, the side light should handle that, but the door itself should not have more than 1 row or 3. But 2 rows is not appropriate. As I said earlier, that's a West Coast introduction by Green and Green, Craftsman bungalow style houses they're all over the West Coast, but it's not an East Coast design element. It does not match with the colonial or Greek revival.
Okay, George, let's go to committee discussion and you'll get to you and Dan.
I mean, I thought that was committee discussion. My apologies.
No, Bet, you want to give a discussion on this?
Yes, I visited the property. I know what the surrounding neighborhood of it is not, they're not following a real antique or historic look in the neighborhood. Therefore, I consider this replacement door appropriate for the house and the setting where it is.
Okay, Leslie.
Yeah, I was fine till I heard George, but anyway.
You're not going to hear him to the end now.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I understand about the light. You'll get more light and it's fine with me.
Okay, Brian.
Yeah, I think given the neighborhood and the nearby structures, it's appropriate. I did have a question. I noticed the original photograph had a storm door. You going to be adding one or no?
No, that's not our intent.
Okay. Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, Wendy.
Yeah, I agree. I think given the neighborhood, it's not historic like right on Route 6A. I think the door looks nice and, I think it's appropriate for that neighborhood. I'm okay with that.
Okay, now George.
Bear in mind, the photograph we saw is a 9-light door, not a 6-light.
Yeah, but it's not an antique house, George, and it's in an eclectic neighborhood. So.
Well, what's represented is not what he's going to do. That's my point.
Is there a front elevation of the house?
Here, this is Kate Maldonado. I can pull up a drawing. I was just working on that.
Yeah. That shows more than the door. I don't know.
Yeah, I can pull one from online, and the applicant can surely confirm how accurate it is. I have one that dates back to 2007. Let me show
I
you
think it would clarify where the door is to the house.
Ah, okay.
Is this helpful?
Formal that is. Look how formal that is. I agree that the the new side lights and the center door may need replacement, and I understand why you'd want to replace a run-of-the-mill combination with this new custom fabricated door and side lights. But the side lights should be reflective of the door itself. They are intended as a triple installation, and either the door is solid or it matches the side lights. Now you can increase the side lights to 4 lights instead of, I think you have 3. You could make that 4 lights on either side. That would give you the extra light in the hallway. And
Well, there are three existing right now on the house on either side of the front door.
And if you wanted to increase that with the new one to 4 lights vertically, you could. And then whatever door you wanted to use would be appropriate.
Well, we're not looking to increase, we don't want to increase the distance downward of the view from the street. We want to keep the distance the same from the distance where it is and upward. That's why we're not interested in increasing, more light in the side lights. And we thought that the front door would be appropriate, as in the neighborhood, there are other front doors that have front lights in them that allow light to come into the foyers.
Yeah. It's just a question of how many pieces of glass you have in the door. And that's the only issue. So if this is not an historic building, and my understanding is that it is not, then it makes no difference what you put in. You're not going to destroy the historic value of it. I just thought you'd like to know what is most appropriate for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Are you done, George?
I am. Thank you.
All right. Now, yeah, this building, just for your knowledge, George, this was built in 1997, so it's not historic.
It's a
And
nice
for
replication.
clarification for everyone else, this thing is it's about 100 feet back from the from the, and it's a cul-de-sac, isn't it? So it's not really that visible. So, you know, and there's some trees and there's some stuff, so, you know, it's not gonna be. If someone thinks it's not appropriate, it's not gonna be a shock to anyone, because it's hard to spot, especially from.
Yeah, the front door is only visible during the summertime. The front door isn't visible by anyone in the neighborhood. And during the wintertime, it's only visible by one other property.
Right, and it's not a highly traveled road. I think, you know,
No,
location for the age of the house and for what's there and in the neighborhood, I think it's appropriate. Is there any public comment?
Chair, this is Kate Maldonado. I do not see any members of the public raising their hand.
Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion?
Yes, this is Beth McCarthy, and I move to approve the certificate of appropriateness for Gregory Brown and Marjorie Mayo Brown of 91 Angela Way, West Barnstable, map 133, parcel 068, built 1997, to replace the front door and side lights as submitted in the plan.
Can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Pat McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Paul Richard, aye. Well, thank you and have a good evening.
thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Good evening.
Okay, next up is minor modifications, Sturgis Library, 3090 Main Street, Barnstable, map 279, parcel 036, built 1800. Proposed modification is to move the signage slightly to the west so that it does not interfere with a view of the library from the street. We don't need a representative for this one. Can you pull up the materials on that so we can see it?
Uh-huh.
All right, so it's moving right now. That's the existing. It's going to move to where that yellow arrow is pointing. Okay,
So that's going to open up the view eastbound from the driveway.
yeah, it's just not next to that front walkway. It's over a little bit, and it's for people walking down the street looking at it. All right, why don't we go to committee discussion, Beth?
I do not consider any issue with the movement of the sign. You're able to view the library straight on without any interference. Therefore, I think the movement of the sign is appropriate.
Okay, Leslie.
I like it better, appropriate.
Okay, you shouldn't like no matter what, but
Well, I
Yeah.
like where it's being moved.
okay. All right, we won't hear the like word. All right, Ryan?
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, Wendy?
Agree. I think it's appropriate.
And George?
I don't have a vote, but it's nice that it's not blocking a view, especially since there are probably a great many people taking pictures of this building. So that's to their advantage.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate, you know, moving it over, and I think it's going to give a better view to the front without the sign being in the way, because that would be the first thing you see with perspective. You know, it's a good thing that it's moving. Can we have a motion?
This is Beth McCarthy, and I move to approve a minor modification for Sturgis Library, 3090 Main Street, Barnstable, map 279, parcel 036, built 1800, to accept the proposed modification to move the signage slightly to the west so that it doesn't interfere with the view of the library from the street.
Can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Pat McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
and Paul Richard, aye. Right, next up is minor modifications, Scott and Amy Peacock, 128 Marston's Lane, Barnstable, map 350, parcel 028, built 1968. Add outside stairway to basement, add entry door in place of one of three transom windows and a large height of overhead door by 24 inches from 10 foot to 12 foot. Okay, can you pull up the elevation, Kate? Or there was one that showed the
Yes.
what was there. Usually minor modifications isn't a bunch of additions, but the stairway, if you look at this, this thing on the bottom, it says add undergrade stairway, so you're not going to see it, so they're just adding that anyway. It's not visible. The other one up on the top, remove, or actually number 2 is remove transom and change to entry door. So that's a minor modification. They're taking out the third transom, which is where the door is, and putting in an entry door. And that's not visible from the street. The only one that is visible, and then it's only slightly because it's up and over a hill and it is, fairly well treed. It says add 24-inch to overhead door height. And I believe it's 24 inches to the width because that thing said from 10 to 12 feet. So I think, and I believe that's in the width.
Hey, Paul, you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Is this Scott?
Yeah, how you doing, Paul?
Good.
Yeah, what is the height? We recently have acquired a camper taller than a previous camper, and I do need height to get that undercover. So, yeah, my thought was just to increase that roof overhang, maybe decrease the pitch a teeny bit, and just to get a little more height and tuck it up under that little roof overhang.
Okay, so it is the height.
Yeah,
Okay, and that's really the only thing that's visible from the street at all.
right. Like you said, there's a lot of trees, and it does kind of sink back down into the lot. The grade comes up pretty quick right at the street.
Okay, so seeing you here, I'm raising the height is that it has, I don't know what they are. What is it? 8 light over 8 light, or 8 light and 8 light? Is it still this kind of the same design?
Yeah, same door style.
Okay, it's just going to be higher. Okay. Are you going to go wider too, or keep the same?
No,
width?
I shouldn't have to go wider.
Okay. Okay.
So you're gonna add 2-foot panel.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be similar to the one at the bottom rather than repeating the line.
Yeah, it's just gonna grow a little. Those panels are gonna grow a little on the bottom. Exactly.
Right. And you may have to do a little minor modification to that overhang, just so you get
Exactly.
enough headroom, but it'll go back slightly. It'll still disguise some of the top of the door. So
Exactly. I just still gonna have the same look. Worst case, I might have to make that window above that a hair smaller as well to raise that roof.
yeah. Okay.
Couple
See,
little things.
Think about notching the roof. Raise the roof to the height you need in order to clear the door and the cabin, and you're gonna be overlapping the window, and then you can either shorten the window and notch the roof.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So that's a design element. I like that.
You can
Right.
flatten the tires of the RV and drive it
That's
in.
been- That's been thought of.
All right. So can we have a motion?
Yes, Beth McCarthy, and I move to approve the minor modification for Amy and Scott Peacock, 128 Marston's Lane, Barnstable, map 350, parcel 028, built 1968, to add an outside stairway to the basement, add an entry door in place of one of 3 transom windows, and to enlarge the height of the overhead door by 24 inches from 10 feet to 12 feet as submitted in the plans.
Have a second.
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Pat McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Aye.
Paul Richard, aye. All right. Well, thank you and have a good evening.
Paul, thank you for your service to the community.
Yeah.
The free
Yeah,
time.
I'm like semi-retirement. It's gonna be like semi-retirement. I'm going to 3 days a week in January too. So
Oh, that's
it will be like
awesome.
semi-retirement.
We'll
All right,
miss you.
next-
Happy
Next up
holidays.
is extensions. for Jess and Megan Afonso, 64 Cypress Point, Barnstable, map 349, parcel 063, built 2001. Install a pool, code fence, gates, and in-ground pool. This is a one-year extension. Can we have a motion?
This is Bette McCarthy, and I move that we approve a one-year extension for Jesse and Megan Alfonso, 64 Cypress Point, Barnstable, map 349, parcel 063, built 2001. Install a pool, a code fence, gates, and an in-ground pool.
Can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Bette McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Hi.
and Paul Richard, aye. Yeah, seeing pools could be, 18 months out or longer. It's got nutty, so, they may be extending it again, who knows? All right, next up under other, Old Kings Highway Historic District election, the results. Wendy, you're in, thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Kate,
Happy to be
do
here.
you have the actual tally?
Yes, I do, Chair. Kate Maldonado. So election was held November 22nd of this year. Wendy was declared the winner of a 4-year term. The votes were 17 for Wendy, and there were 0 write-ins.
Okay,
A
very good. Thank you.
landslide.
Landslide.
Yes, it was.
It is. No, I'm telling you.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay,
Like a pebble slide.
yeah. Congratulations, Wendy.
Thank you.
Happy to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
okay, next up under other is the 2023 meeting schedule. Can you pull that up, Kate, or if is it handy or not handy? If I don't know the exact dates, I mean.
It is. Let me pull it up. I have it in laser.
Yeah, one of the things I sort of had an issue with the schedule this year is from the October meeting to the November meeting, and it was basically around the same time. It's 2 weeks apart, and then you go 5 weeks to the December meeting. I think it would be better if it was moved so that it was 3 weeks from, instead of the second week in November, if it went to the third, that would put 3 weeks from the October meeting and only 4 weeks to the December meeting. Yeah, it's even earlier. It's November 8th. I don't know what the rest of the committee thinks. I just think, this 5 weeks in between, the November to the December meeting is a long time. When you move it 1 week farther ahead, and it's 3 weeks from the October meeting and only 4 weeks to the December meeting.
Right. And that doesn't interfere with the Thanksgiving week, right? Move it.
I think it's still a week before.
Still,
Yeah.
And it should be a little bit before the weekend or the Tuesday of the election too. So if that's possible, the committee could recommend and take a motion and see if,
that's a good idea.
they can move that.
And Chair, you're looking at, it would be Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. Is that correct?
Yeah, is that a conflict to anything? Kate?
Not that I can think of, no.
No. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like this 5 weeks between the November to the December meeting was a long time for applicants to be waiting. I mean, there's still only going to be 1 and 1, but it just seems like a better thing. I don't know. What do you think, Bette?
I think that's, it's a good idea to move it.
Yeah, Leslie?
Doesn't matter to me. I'm retired.
Yeah, I'm not yet. Ryan?
I guess I'm indifferent. I mean, given the logic behind your explanation, it probably does make sense to tighten the gaps a little bit, but.
Yeah, it's not a big deal one way or the other, but it seems like it's a little better to move it a little bit closer so that they're not, this 5 weeks in between just seemed like a long time. Wendy?
Yeah, I agree. I think moving it out a week is a good idea.
Yeah, and George?
I'll throw in the opposite view. One of the reasons for having it early in November is to get the foundations in the ground before the winter. And the further away you get from November 1st, the more the difficulty of pouring concrete. So that would be the only reason for keeping it the second week, so that the contractor gets an extra week.
Then we could move the December one back into November. No,
I'll
I
move the
think by
December
the
one
time they
closer
get, they're
to
gonna
the-
be 2 weeks out before they can do anything anyway, and, you know, I think they're looking at a spring foundation no matter what, so.
Just my thought.
Yeah, okay. So just to see that there's some consensus, maybe we should just do a motion and have a vote and go from there. So can we have a motion to move it to the,
This is Bette McCarthy, and I make a motion that we move the November 2023 meeting to November 15th.
15th or 16th?
No, it's gotta be
Did you
Whatever
say
that
it was-
Wednesday is.
the 15th.
Okay, can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I'll second.
All in favor, roll call vote. Bette McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Hi.
and Paul Richard. I think I'll abstain since it's not gonna have anything to do with me. All
Well, it
right,
does have something to do with me, and because it's a future vote, I'd vote aye.
yeah, yeah, okay. All right, next up is approval of minutes from November 9th, 2022. Are there any amendments or corrections?
I did not see any. This is Bette McCarthy. I did not see any.
No, so seeing there's no corrections, can we have a motion to accept the minutes
Bette
from
McCarthy, I make
November 9th?
a motion that we approve the minutes of November 9th, 2022 as submitted.
Can we have a second?
Leslie Wallace, I second.
Okay, all in favor, roll call vote. Bette McCarthy,
Aye.
Leslie Wallace,
Aye.
Ryan Caholen,
Aye.
Wendy Shuck,
Hi.
and Paul Richard, I. Okay, I guess that's the end of business for the evening. It's been a pleasure serving on the committee all this time, and you know, all things should come to an end, and change is good. So welcome
Right.
aboard, Wendy, and
Thank
you
you.
know, all right.
We'll miss
thank you,
you,
Paul,
Paul.
your
and have a good evening.
expertise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Paul.
Paul,
Merry Christmas.
Merry
And I will be
Christmas,
around if you
everybody.
have any questions, you want to email me or call me, you know, you might have some
Okay.
questions down the road.
Paul, we thank you for your leadership and your knowledge, and we really appreciate everything you've done. So we'll miss you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
And all have a good holiday, and we'll talk to you later.
all right.
Thanks,
Merry
Paul.
Christmas.
All right.
Bye,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Bye-bye.